Hello दोस्तों, I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am here to let you know a journey for the upcoming 3 years probably, as you guys have already cleared CA Intermediate or CA IPCC as it was in the old syllabus for CA Final and CA Curriculum, and now you are in the CA Final, the main tag that you have been working for the last 2 years or 3 years or more than that. And this basically what happens is when we pass out from the C Inter or IPCC, we firstly step ourselves into the CA final, right? And the first thing that strikes in our mind is not the CA final classes, but it is the articleship. And the period of articleship is too long that people get themselves busy, you know. And what happens is, and this is something that the something that I'm going to tell you is something that I personally faced in my time when I passed out from CA IPC, then I cleared out CA IPCC and stepped into CA final, was what is the journey ahead for approaching the CA final classes? What is the background of each subject? And how should we proceed? In which sequence should we proceed that subjects? So in this video, I will be telling you or taking you throughout the overview of the curriculum of CA final existing as on date, and I will be suggesting you a sequence that you guys should follow to chase or to excel your examinations. And you can, in a time bound manner, you can complete your classes and then you can proceed for your exams. So here we go. Firstly, as visible in your screen is I basically there are 8 subjects. The same was in CA Inter, but in CA IPCC there was 7 subjects. In the screen, you can see basically the topmost table, the blue, which is in blue shade, the group 1 and group 2. Group 1 consists of 4 subjects, out of which 2 are practical and 2 are theoretical. And group 2 is, there is hard. It is hard to bifurcate specifically in group 2 the subjects that are theoretical or practical, right? I will be telling you the reasons ahead. In CA final, there are subjects that work on 70-30 model. 70-30 models is 70% is descriptive portion and 30% is MCQ based, right? So basically in the bottom left table, there is a descriptive plus MCQ. There are 5 subjects that work on a 70-30 model. In this subject, basically the question paper comes in 2 parts specifically. One is descriptive questions that we have to write the answer in the descriptive way, and the other, there would be another piece of question paper that would be elective one, right? These things will somehow won't work in the paper number 6, that is elective, right? And for the subjects that are purely descriptive one or practical are majorly FR, SFM, and SCMP. SCMP is the costing. So now we are moving ahead with the subject to subject review. Like in CA Inter or CA IPCC, the accounts portion, the subject that we had in the name of accounts, in that particular subject, we majorly had accounting standards, right? That are in the normal language, we can say accounting standards are applicable as on date on the small companies, right? But when we come in CA final, our entire 99% syllabus is based on Indian accounting standards. They are advanced version of the accounting standards. They are basically designed to make Indian financial reporting methodology or methods to prepare the books at par with the global standards, right? To meet the global standards, Indians have been introduced in India. So in CA final, FR is accounts, and in this portion we will be having India's completely Indian accounting standards. Right, there are two to three some theoretical chapters. They consist of maximum to maximum. If some question comes, that would be as per past trend, it would be highly for 4 to 5 marks. So that doesn't make much sense. But Indian accounting standards are the base for FR. So as you can see in C, I already told you in C about the CA intercurriculum that you said, and the reason for bringing this subject, or sorry, the reason for introducing Indian accounting standards, despite of the fact that India had its own accounting standards that you already studied in CA Inter or IPCC, and this is a practical subject, right? Secondly, we second subject is paper two, that is strategic financial management. It is a bit interesting subject and practical as well as theoretical based. As per the trend, it is clear cut picture that 20% of the paper will be complete theory, right? In practicals, obviously, where there are practical questions, you can you can be asked to judge or to basically conclude something or to state your decision. So that is something different, right? But this subject is 80% practical and 20% theoretical, considering the exam paper pattern, right? The major concepts that we study in the SFM are about stock markets, cash market, as well as derivative markets, the fundamental analysis of stocks. We study about foreign exchange management, how uh, a foreign exchange management of foreign exchange works. Next is mergers and acquisitions and mutual funds. This is quite interesting subject and scoring as well. This curriculum of this particular subject, considering other practical subjects, is comparatively lesser. If I speak about paper one, that was FR, the curriculum is huge. You have to work a lot harder to chase or to excel that particular paper. And in the SFM, the subjects number of chapters are more, but the content is bit limited and it is manageable. Next is paper three. It's advanced auditing and professional ethics, the one in the most favorite subject of all of us. Those who have come from CA Inter, they are well versed with the auditing standards. So this paper is divided into two parts. It also works on 70-30 basis, but this subject is divided into two parts majorly. First is advanced auditing and another is professional ethics. Like in advanced auditing, I mentioned on the, as you can guys can see on the screen, it consists of a company audit, audits of PSUs, NPFCs, insurance, banks, and it also consists of auditing standards. And there is income tax audit. GST audit has been abolished, and there are other chapters like peer review, due diligence, internal audit, management audit, operational audit, and the another part consists of professional ethics. Like, what is professional ethics? When we step ahead after becoming a chartered accountant, right? You will be bound by a law. As you guys are well aware that CA Institute has been established by a law. That is, there is an act that abides all the chartered accountants and other parties with this law. This act is the Chartered Accountants of India Act 1949. So there are code of conducts, the ethics that are applicable to us. So in this the portion of professional ethics, you will we guys generally do a study about the code of ethics that are applicable to us and some other basics about the CA profession that are abide through the CA Act 1949. Right? And time to time, as councils are there, the council guidelines are also applicable. It is completely theory subject. It needs too much of revision. As you guys already know how to deal with audit, so I won't take much of your time for this particular subject. Let's move ahead to paper four. This is corporate and economic law. It the entire syllabus of this subject is divided into three parts. First is company law, second is securities law, and third is economic law. Company law consists of Companies Act 2013, related rules, regulations, and timely notifications that are basically that are announced by the government authorities. Security law consists of SACRA. SACRA stands for Securities Contract Regulation Act and Securities Contract Regulation Rules. And next is SEBI. Okay. These two acts, basically these two laws are considered under securities, and in economic law you will be getting well versed with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, that's Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, SURFICE and PAMLA. SURFICE is Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Securities Interest Act 2002, and PAMLA is Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. And in economic laws, there are also some more acts like Foreign Contribution and Regulation Act 2010 and the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. The subject is quite interesting and theory though. So here we end up with the group one. I hope I took you guys a brief about the subjects, and now we are moving to group two. So in group two, we have fifth paper that is SCMP, Strategic Cost Management and Performance Evaluation. It is in simple language, it is a subject of costing, but it is much more than that. Why I am saying that? Because as in CA Inter, the costing was more about practical questions. There were direct questions, practical oriented, which are simple and straightforward to solve. But this is a subject which I felt that it took the result of many students, those who were with me, from pass to fail. And the reason behind this thought process, or this implication of this particular subject, is because it is a decision based subject, right? When you in this particular subject, we study about various business methodologies, processes, and answer needs to be given accordingly. There are very less chances that you will be getting a direct question in the examination from the book, and more chances that the questions that are the questions that you can see or you will be seeing in your question paper will be a judgment based, right? The question will be saying that you need to analyze, or you need to decide, or you need to give a judgment upon, like there would be multiple scenarios, and you have to evaluate that. And being a CFO or being a CFO or chief accountant, or any person in the top designation of the organization, you have to answer those questions. You have to give the judgment based on the analytics and the facts. So the subject is damn too interesting, but needs a change in mindset, that it is not much of practical subject. Rather, it is a judgment based sentimental subject, right? So this is done with paper 5, and next we are moving to paper number 6. Say, elective paper open. NCA final new syllabus. ICI has given it an opportunity to its students any of the material. It is not concise to only institute material. Any material that you want, you can take this to your exam hall. So there are 6 subjects, right? For in paper 6 elective, you have to choose from the 6 subjects. The table is in the left side of the screen. The first is risk management, complete theoretical judgment based subject. Second is financial services and capital market. It is a mix of theory and practical. And paper 6 is international taxation, a mixed match of theory and practical. Economic laws, it also it is a subject that consists of different acts, complete theory. And GFRS is global financial reporting standards. This is a subject based on IFRS, like you will be given on case studies based on and you will be given case studies, and you have to solve those case studies considering the international financial reporting standard. And next is paper 6F, multidisciplinary case studies. So the paper 6F is a bit interesting. In paper 6F, you need to have a holistic knowledge of other 7 papers that are in the CA final, right? There are total 8 subjects in the CA final. And if you're opting for the paper 6F, you have to get the complete knowledge of all the other 7 papers. This is what I mean. any case study, any topic from any of the subject, like there would be a case study, and there will be multiple questions really for that particular given case study, and you would be asked a question based on income tax, and the other question will be based on GST, and third question could be based on like it could be from law regarding foreign exchange, FEMA. It could have a gist of FEMA. It can ask for the also for the question based on foreign exchange, forex chapter that we study on in SFM. This needs there needs to be an holistic knowledge for this particular subject. So what I would suggest is, before opting for paper 6, that is elective, just just think from your mind and not from your heart. You need to think that, like, I will tell you something about those. We'll go through the pointers given on the right side. First is that I already told you it is an open book examination. Second is it's a case study based paper, right? There would be 5 case studies in all. You have to opt for 4 case studies, and each case study will amount for 25 marks. And in these subjects, like as far as RM is concerned, or international taxation is concerned, GFRS is concerned, you need to have and complete knowledge for those particular subjects, right? It could not work like you are having a knowledge for one chapter and not the another. So once you will go through these subjects and you will solve out the past papers, you will get to know a lot about these subjects. And in the elective, being an open book, institute has challenged you that you can bring any of the material that you want. It is 100% possible to secure an exemption. It is 100% possible. You need to basically channelize your strategy that you are going to implement in the exam hall. The time duration for this particular paper 6 is 4 hours. It's 15 hours reading and another 4 hours for writing. Since it is an open book, so it would take time to turn the pages around. And one thing I'll also tell you, there would be an option when you will be filling your exam form. There would be an option to choose your elective, right? It doesn't depend on the elective that you have chosen at the time when you have registered yourself for CA final. You can change your elective at the time of filing of exam form for CA final. The exam form that you will be filing, the elective that you will be filling in the exam form would be final. I hope I've given up pretty much about the overall elective paper. If you guys want me to make a video on these specific 6 subjects, just let me know in the comment section. I will bring that video to you. So we are moving ahead. The next is paper 7, direct tax laws and international taxation. Like direct tax laws, we have already studied. You guys have already studied in CA Inter or IPCC paper on income tax. That portion is covered in income tax in this paper 7, direct tax laws. Apart from that particular, there are also an additional knowledge about litigation procedures, administrative procedures, how things works at income tax department, how things work for litigations, and some other stuff. And there is another part known as international taxation that basically values for 30 marks in your exam paper. It consists with there are multiple topics for the international taxation, like taxation of non-resident, taxation for international transactions, equalization levy, DTAA is double tax avoidance agreement, interpretation of tax treaties, and BEPS. BEPS is base erosion and profit shifting. The paper pattern is 70-30. It is 70% descriptive and 30% is MCQ based. And here is the last paper, that is paper number 8, indirect tax laws, which consists of basically 2 portions. The one is GST law, that values for 75 marks, and other is custom laws and FTP. FTP stands for foreign trade policies, and that amounts for 25 marks. In this also, as far as the curriculum is concerned, the content that we studied, that you guys studied in CA Inter, is all together here. And additionally, there are administrative procedures, litigation processes. Next is Customs Act, and the last is the FTP. So here I just gave you a gist of all the 8 papers. What is the background of all the 8 papers? What is the paper pattern? And how much is the content of, specifically if we talk about paper 8 or paper 7, like paper 7 we had 70%, 70% or 70 marks for DT and 30 marks for international taxation. In paper 8 we had 75 marks for GST and 25 marks for FTP. I told you much about that. Now I will be telling you what sequence you should be following while proceeding your studies, and in which sequence you should take up your studies for both the groups. So here's the table in front of you. At first, at the beginning I told you that FR, financial reporting, paper number 1, is vast. So this subject shall be taken at the starting, because once you are done with the subject, you need to do continuous revisions. And also there are least amendments in the subjects. Second, nextly, we have taken a theoretical subject, audit. You guys need no explanation. I hope you are well versed how to deal with the audit. It's a complete theoretical subject and needs continuous revision. After getting done with the first one practical subject, let's take up with the another theoretical subject. Third is SFM. SFM as a practical subject with comparatively lesser syllabus. I told you earlier also, the syllabus is manageable and lesser if we compare it with the FR or SCMPE. So we can take up this subject. We can take up SFM at third, and at fourth, if you guys are going for both groups, take up SCMPE. It is a practice based subject. I'm not saying practical based, it is practice based subject. It needs a lot of practice. The questions are decision based, judgment centric. They need your decision advice. So obviously you have to go through the theories. There is a theory in this particular subject. There are also practical questions, but the content of theory is much more than practical. And what the mistake that is done by the students, we engage ourselves in practical questions much more, which is not needed, or which might be needed, that does not match the level of intensity that is desired for the theoretical portions, right? The theoretical portions, like if there is a question for 10 marks, let's say there's a question of 10 marks, there might be it would contain practical as well as theoretical questions. Theoretical portion, if you are writing the answer for that particular question, it would consist of theory as well as practical, right? So the theory would amount to 60% of the marks, and practical would amount to 40% of marks. Let's say if it is a 10 marks question, 6 marks would be allotted for the practical portion, and 4 marks would be allotted for the practical portion, and the 6 marks will be allotted for theoretical portion. The mistake is, we guys think that we have done the practical portion, our answer is correct, we'll get the marks, but you will get only 4 marks. 4 marks were allotted for the practical portion. Here where the game changes. So I am making you guys much more aware for SCMPE. Just you need to take up, if we are planning for both groups, take this subject at 4th level. Nextly, we will on 5th sequence, you can take corporate law. It is a theory subject, needs continuous revision, having frequent amendments. So like above 4 subjects were those that does not need much amendments, does not have much amendment. Now there are subjects those have frequent amendments, right? Company Act has frequent amendments. There are time to time amendments on FEMA, FACRA, IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy. There are frequent amendments coming in that particular code on regular basis or on frequent basis. This is the subject that I have kept at much at a bit later time period. Now, at sixth stage, you can go for your elective. It's an open book subject. As far as amendments are concerned, it depends on the elective that you have opted for. Okay. Nextly, we are moving to direct tax and indirect tax. Like you can swap this as per your convenience. It could be IDT before IDT, or as I stated, DT before IDT. The reason is DT, the syllabus or the curriculum of DT depends on the Finance Act, right? And once you will be in the last year or the second last year of your articleship, you might be knowing what are the changes applicable, major changes applicable in your exam for DT or IDT. Okay. So that's why I have kept these particular subjects at last. So this is I'm telling you guys, this is a suggestive sequence that I followed, and I suggest to follow you. I suggest you to follow this. And at last, I just wanted to thank you guys for sparing your time and giving a view to this video. Hit that like button and share with your friends who are in the dilemma to start how to, in the dilemma to proceed on how to proceed their studies. And to connect with me, the link for my LinkedIn and other social media handles are on description. I'll request you to please hit that like button for any comments or your precious comments. Your requests are always welcome. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.